Hi everybody, this is Alchemist 2 and I'm back again with another book review. This is a science fiction book by Jane Lindskold called Artemis Awakening, and honestly, I had never heard of this authoress before, and I'm really happy that I did because it is a fantastic, engrossing story about a huntress named Adama and her puma, who's named Sand Shadow, and Sand Shadow has the ability to communicate telepathically with her, and Sand Shadow also can tie things rudimentarily because she has an extra digit. They're called polydactyls, and it's interesting how they developed that relationship. It took years of cultivating it, and the planet Artemis wasn't always inhabited by humanoids or human beings. The ones that implanted that were the Seegers, and the Seegers, they had a lot of power and wisdom, and those who took the Seegers on guided tours, those were the what do they call them? The factuums. They called them the factuums. The factuums are sort of like a tour guide. If they ever met a Seeger again, they would lead the Seeger around to his creation, or the creation of Artemis, what is on Artemis now, and just all the different locales on Artemis, and just the way they live, and it's interesting all these different characters that come about. And Adama is a very intriguing woman. She's called the Huntress, and she has claws like a cat and night vision. She was engineered to be such, and she's quite adept at gathering game. Of course, that's how she learned her name. And then you have a hero named Griffin Dane, who crash lands on Artemis. He's on a trip from heavens know where, and he crash lands in Artemis, and Adama saves his life from a snowdrift, and it's very interesting. There's a love triangle that appears later on in the book, and I'm hoping that she writes the sequel to this because I really want to know how it ends. And it's just really a story that will take you, and you'll get totally awash in it. And I love the way that Lindskold writes. She's very descriptive and visual in how she describes these different characters, especially the puma. I love Sand Shadow. Sand Shadow is fascinating, and Sand Shadow has her own opinion on things, and she's quite funny. And I love her reaction. And then you have another character named Bruin, who, like Adama, teaches young ones the skill of the hunt and everything, and how to fight, and how to spar, etc. Basically, how to survive. And then there are bears that live with Bruin, and there's one called Honeychild, and Honeychild is similar to Sand Shadow in the fact that she can understand her master, and it's just really terrific. And it's just interesting, this experiment, this terraforming experiment on Artemis, and later on you figure out something very very groundbreaking about the planet itself. I'm not going to give it away. Maybe the title will give it away a little bit, but spoiler alert. They find this spider. It's a robot, and they don't know where it came from. They're not sure why it was there, and it's a mystery in and of itself. And of course, there's a period of time in the book when Griffin Dane is drowned by Adama's other significant infatuate, and the old one, who's still young, tries to keep it a secret. Well, they do keep it a secret. He remains hidden. He secludes himself, and he he retreats to the inner sanctum where he can't be found, and Adama's still looking for him. She doesn't know where he's gone off to, and they all think he's drowned, and they all think he's dead. And he explains that, well, this didn't happen. There's a lot of intrigue in the book, and it's just really tremendously written. And I can't help but recommend it. And I'm glad that I found it, because first of all, the cover took my interest, and of course on the back it gives a starred review and everything, and talks about her past books. And here she is. I didn't really know anything about her. She has written Through Wolf's Eyes to Wolf's Blood, as more 60 shorter works of sci-fi and fantasy. Several of her novels have been chosen by Voya for best sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. Lynn Scoll's work has been repeatedly praised for its sensitive depiction of worlds and cultures different from our own, especially those that aren't in the least human. So it's really good, and I absolutely love it, and I can't help but recommend it to those of you who like sci-fi like I do, especially beings that can communicate with humans, animals. I just love it. It kind of reminds me of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the fact of the matter that she has a puma that follows her, and it's like She-Ra. So I thought, oh yeah, this is similar, and I wonder if she got her idea from that. It kind of makes me wonder. It's still, in and of itself, it's its own place, its own world, and it's a utopia in and of itself, strangely. And, well, it's not really a utopia. There's some bad things that happen to the women there, and it explains that. And, the women pretty much have to fight it out for themselves, but they have to remain hale and resilient and hardy, and they have to be able to know how to fight back when the time comes. It's kind of disheartening in a way, in some aspects, but it is interesting. It is very, very intriguing in the way that she writes, and wields and weaves her world and her lore. And Griffin's an archaeologist, and they talk about historians and lore keepers, and the difference between the categorizations of those people, and why he thinks his work is important as an archaeologist and an anthropologist, and how he still doesn't understand what it is to be a seeger, because he has the garb of a seeger. He has the coverall that's green, so she keeps calling him a seeger when they meet at first, and it's very interesting, their overall attraction, and that basic instinctual desire that they have at the first, because I think that all human beings have that kind of knee-jerk reflex when when pheromones react the way they do, and it's very very fascinating. So I highly recommend it.